immense and the task so daunting for those on the ground. So that's what we know here so far, Paul. I can also tell you, having talked to the Secret Service again just moments ago, the security perimeter that was extended about 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon around the White House, bumping it out at 2 full blocks to the north, will continue today. And in fact, the Secret Service told me that it is still operating on what it describes as a very high state of alert. There is, as Jim Mackin, the spokesman for the Secret Service, told me, a lot of intelligence coming in, and the Secret Service will maintain that extensive and extended perimeter of security around the White House. Mr. Mackin telling CNN that it could shrink sometime today, but it could also go back to what it is right now. And he said that could go on for many, many days because the Secret Service does believe there is a continuing threat to the White House, and so it's going to take every single precaution it believes necessary to protect not only the president, the press who work here, the larger White House staff family, but also the very citizenry of Washington, D.C. that works in this general area. Paula?
Major, unfortunately, once again, I missed part of your report because we're constantly being handed new information. I know the last time I spoke with you, you mentioned that the Vice President, Dick Cheney, will not be at the prayer service. Explain to us why.
He is not scheduled to be at the prayer service. He is not on any official list of those who will be attending. The Vice President was moved from the White House complex yesterday to the Camp David presidential retreat. Why? Because the Secret Service determined that for security reasons, it was not a good idea to have the Vice President and the President of the United States in the same place at the same time. That gives you a sense of just how pronounced the security concerns are for the Secret Service. They want to separate the Commander-in-Chief from the second-in-command or the second-in-line for the presidency at this moment of heightened security alert here at the White House. So for all the information we've gathered this morning, the Vice President will remain at Camp David. The President will be here, and he will not be with the President at that prayer service at the National Cathedral.
All right, Major, thanks so much for that update. And I should add to what Major just said on the New York front that most of us that were out in the city early this morning have never seen the degree of security that now is in place to greet the president when he arrives here later today. Mayor Giuliani expected to hold a news conference at some point. This is probably one of the most anticipated news conferences. It was supposed to happen about 45 minutes ago. Now we're told it will indeed happen in 10 minutes. If and when that happens, we'll bring it to you live. You see the podium that the mayor will be standing at, and he will have a lot of information to share with us. Is that indeed the podium where the mayor will be addressing us from? I believe so, the mysterious podium. But I can confirm for you this morning the city maintains that at least at this point 4,700, more than 4,700 people are still missing. Among those is a man named Carlos Morales. Joining us this morning is Noemi Morales and Richard Gonzalez. It is your brother who is missing.
Yes.
Who did he work for? Where was he the day of these attacks? Welcome.
Thank you. He worked for Cantor Fitzgerald, and we believe he was on the 101st floor.
And which tower was he in? The first one hit or the second one?
The first one hit.
No, I believe it was just the second building hit, the second plane that crashed.
So he was actually above the point.
Right, that is correct.
So are you at all hopeful? We have pictures of your brother and your brother-in-law right now. And people from all over the city are missing family members, are taking these pictures down to the armory in hopes that someone can make some sort of connection for them. Do you have any hope at all that your brother is alive?
Yes, I still believe he's alive, and I'm hoping that through these pictures, someone somewhere out there has seen him and can help us find him.
When is the last time you spoke with him?
I spoke with him Monday night.
Did anybody talk with him on Tuesday?
Yes, his best friend, Harry, spoke to him Tuesday morning at 8:30. He was already having coffee at his desk.
So no contact was made after the initial blast?
No, none.
Because you hear these heartrending conversations about people making cell phone calls to family members as they were being evacuated from the building.
Well,
so you don't even know if he ever attempted to be evacuated from the building?
No.
He worked for the Cantor Fitzgerald firm.
Yes.
And from what we understand, at least 1,000 of the some 2,700 folks, and these are some of the offices we're looking at, were housed in this tower. The head of the firm actually arrived late for work that day because he wanted to take his son to nursery school. He is missing a brother as well. But it would appear at this moment that this firm will suffer a huge, huge toll. Have you been in touch with anybody from the firm? Because that is, in fact, the firm your brother also worked for.
I've tried calling several numbers and I can't reach anybody. Most of the time the numbers are busy, and when I do get through, they have no information for us.
See, my wife spent most of the time at home making a lot of phone calls, while me and his closest friends, closest relatives, went up and down of Manhattan to every hospital. We did come across a few families from Cantor Fitzgerald who also knew nothing. Actually, from most of the people that are missing are Cantor Fitzgerald people that just haven't heard any type, no names on lists, on hospitals, none missing or okay. It's like nothing at all. They can't get a single word of, you know, not even bodies, looking for bodies to match up, you know, to go with the bad, to, you know, to balance out to see where exactly we stand. Nothing at all. So we just keep hoping that something, anything would just come up.
They keep taking our name and number and saying they would get back to us, but no one has
sending
called
us
back.
all over, hospital to hospital, place to place. Even now in Jersey, we have close friends out there helping us, trying to get any kind of word, either or, one way or another. We want some type of answer.
Whether he's dead or alive, we just want to find his body.
And until then, we're just gonna keep on.
I know this is so difficult for you to do, but so many other families have found themselves in the same position of running aimlessly from one hospital to the other hospital, trying to just get a little nugget of information. Describe to us what it's like to walk into an emergency room and try to find out about a lost family member.
First of all, they try not to let anyone in the hospitals, and they pretty much cut them off in front of the hospitals, emergencies and places like that. And
not out of unkindness, but
no,
simply out of the sheer number of people that have shown up.
To control everything, which is understandable. But again, what basically they're doing is giving more runarounds and showing us lists after lists, same list. Some aren't even updated well. A lot of the information, rumors are all almost completely wrong. Websites, wrong.
And some of those, I'm told, not intentionally wrong.
Not
People really
intentionally,
want to
no,
help, but they're putting
exactly.
bad information out there.
For me, going to these places, and even though I'm not getting any answers, gives me some kind of comfort, because I know so many other people out there are going through what we are, and it's sort of comforting for me. So even though I know there's not much I can do, and they're not going to give me much information, I feel comfort.
Although you're finding comfort. Hillary Lane, one of our correspondents, was reporting down at the Armory, where a lot of family members are going with pictures of their loved ones, that the mood has changed dramatically from yesterday to today. That today you have investigators on the scene asking for dental records, asking for identifications of family members. You do understand why some people are incredibly angry this morning.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm angry as well.
Just the waiting is taking a toll on everyone now. Not getting any answers and just waiting, it's the hardest thing.
And I know it's not your intention to criticize the efforts underway, because you understand the magnitude of what's going on, but you certainly are caught in the middle of it.
We are so happy with New Yorkers and how they're handling it. Everyone has been great that we've walked to, although we haven't got any answers. Everyone was kind
and compassionate,
and walked up to us at all times, asking if we needed help, food, water, everything, clothing, and everything they wanted us to do, we did, as far as filling out the missing reports and all. And it's hard to be selfish, and we are sad for everyone that is involved, but we just know personally of him, and that's what we're trying to get the answer to. Now everyone's going through what we're going through, and we know that, and it's like I said, it's hard to be selfish, and we're trying to bear with it all right now.
What kind of a man was your brother, or is your brother? I know you still hold hope, even though he was above the area that got hit in that trade center. You're still not giving up.
No, he's wonderful. He's full of life. Everyone that knows him feels the same way. He's very caring, very loving. He's very funny. He can make anybody in any room laugh. He has that laugh that's so contagious. You hear him and you just laugh with him. He's wonderful. He loves my daughter, his niece. He loves his mother very much. She was the woman in his life. And he's just wonderful.
Any final thought, Richard?
Just the same, like everyone else, if they hear anything, to please call. We left 2 numbers, and wishing everyone else as much luck as we're trying to get.
If you two would stand by, we're awaiting a news conference with the mayor of New York City, and in the process of waiting for the news conference, I wanted to share something with you that I read in the Daily News, which is a local New York newspaper, and it basically reinforces what you said about the spirit of New Yorkers. We have a shot of the hundreds of volunteers who have streamed to this city, or we may also have a shot of the vigils that have been held basically for the last 3 days straight. And I'd like to read this to you if we can show some pictures of those folks that have come out to volunteer. But here's what the editorial said, talking about the president's upcoming visit to New York. Welcome to New York, Mr. President. Welcome to the world's greatest city. Welcome to a city filled with people who, despite their reputation for arrogance and for attitude, are at heart the kindest, warmest, most caring folks you'd ever want to meet. Some things will never change. Some things already have. The terrorists who struck at our heart murdered thousands, but they could not murder the American spirit. Even if they had destroyed the Statue of Liberty or the U.S. Capitol building or the White House, our strength would remain. America is not a building, not a statue. It is people. It is 8 million New Yorkers along with 272 million other Americans. And here's the mayor now of New York City to start his news conference.
That was why I stood in front of you yesterday. I go fast in front.
Good morning. Obviously, everyone is concerned about the impact of the weather on the relief and recovery efforts, and there's no question that they're hampered by it. Things have to proceed more carefully, more cautiously. At the same time, they're going on because there is still a strong hope that we'll be able to recover people and find people and save them. So we will try very hard to conduct the operations today. Obviously, considering the fact that it's dangerous, or more dangerous than it otherwise would be, but they will go on, and hopefully we'll be able to find and save some people today. The misinformation yesterday was a cause of real concern, and I'd like to explain at least a little bit about it and ask you if you could consider in reporting this information to be more patient than to just run with information before it's been verified. Some of it is meaningless ultimately because it gets corrected, but some of it could be very, very dangerous and very emotionally damaging. Reports, for example, that there are people that we've discovered and been in contact with that aren't verified, aren't true. And there was a report like that yesterday evening that a woman was in communication with people, and there were 10 or 15 people in a store and underneath, and it was reported rather widely, and it leads to lots of families becoming very, very hopeful and then finding out that it's just not plain true at all.